Mama never say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. I see them yopo.
At all. You see, like all the other NPP officials who have been accused of wrongdoing, even those who have been charged and placed before court, why? They're all on bail except for one. Even that one I'm not sure, except for one. They're all on bail. They live in their houses. They eat the food they prefer. They wear clothes of their preference and so on. They go to court when the court invites them and so on. Nobody has put a gun to their heads. But Mr. Ofori-Atta is in detention. Masa is in detention. He is the choices he made has landed him in detention. And created an impression, and I'm choosing my words very carefully, created the impression that he's running away from prosecution. It's totally needless. And they're asking for guarantees. What guarantees? You see, by his conduct, now if he comes back, it will be perfectly lawful, perfectly legal to regard him as a flight risk. Which means that his bail conditions will be very, very high if he's granted bail.
Yeah.
In fact, a judge may even decide not to grant him bail because of his conduct. You understand? So, I think, look, we should cut the theater. One of the things which is important, one of the things that I think it's important to state is that, like every suspect or accused persons, he is presumed innocent until convicted. So you cannot be calling Mr. Kenny Ofori-Atta today a thief. He's not. The court may convict him, but until such time that he has been convicted, he's not a thief. And that goes for all the other people who are facing prosecution. None of them is a thief until convicted. And it's important, as some other panelists have said, that their basic fundamental rights are protected. All of them, including Ofori-Atta. If he should come back, his fundamental rights ought to be respected and protected. What else do I have to add to this? Nothing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And of course, we have to conclude the matter of the New Patriotic Party. A few things, just to put on record that the Attorney General's involvement is strictly on the matter of extradition. Aside that he is not the one prosecuting, he's the OSP, he's a special prosecutor, so he's responsible for. We don't know whether they are looking for him, but they haven't.
That separation. That separation is only academic. If you read the Constitution of Ghana, all prosecutions are done
on behalf of the
Attorney General.
Yeah.
So that thing, forget it.
OSP is not in the Constitution.
But I think that they have started the prosecution. It's in court now.
Yeah.
So
yes.
It is not the case that they've just
but
left.
I also agree that he has to be here. We did first one, said in that tobacco. The
what
one
do we
is
get? There are
let us get the person.
plenty instances where judgments are procured in absentia and its enforceability becomes a problem.
You get it, get the judgment.
No, but we've just
it becomes cost 90.
face that matter for it.
I say you get the judgment.
Cost 90.
Well,
Article 19.3, like
get the judgment.
you must be present. Even in absentia, it's the court
judgment,
that will tell
you
you
will
to
be
proceed in absentia, not you.
well, thank you.
Well, first of all, I want to clear a few cobwebs, before I get to the substantive issue. It is not true that there are no rules and laws governing the granting of bail, and that no thresholds are set. It cannot be true. First, there has been a lot of litigation in the courts about levels of bails and so on. The courts have made decisions and all. And Indeed, those who practice law insist that precedent is itself law and it's applicable and so on. Beyond that, there are clear rules, and laws about bail and its efficacy and so on. Now, thirdly, I'm not aware today of anybody whose rights to bail has been abused in this administration. I am not aware. If anybody has any case and they bring it up, we will look at it and discuss it. But I'm not aware of any case of abuse of rules and laws governing the granting of bail. That's number one. Number two, I'm just shocked at the theater around the Ofori-Atta case. That's pure theater. You understand? Pure theater. There are allegations against Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. He's supposed to come and answer questions. He hasn't come. There are indications that he has no intention of coming. The law grants the Attorney General power to prosecute in his absence. Why is the Attorney General not prosecuting him? Why? Cases of convictions in absentia. There are so many of them. So why this theater? That's a waste of everybody's time. Theater, theater, theater. Why? Eh? What else should I say? There's nothing which prevents the prosecution of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta or any other person who may be deemed to have been engaged in unlawful practices. Nothing. So this pressure for extradition and so on, why? His presence in the U.S. is not a bar to his prosecution. So why this empty, useless theater? I don't understand it. You understand? I don't understand it. Now, I think, and in all seriousness,
well, let me say that I want to assuage the fears of Uncle Pratt that he doesn't want to live with an MPP that will condone terrorizing African countries. And I also share in the same thing. Just that, to be certain, as for coming back, not so soon. So that you can be assuaged. Now, in all the discussions so far I've had on this Ken matter, I think the principle of accountability, we must get it clear. It's institutional and not personal. All what you have said simply suggests that you support what is going on. Now, you are trying to even justify why it is so by linking several other cases. And I think that every case must be treated on its own merit. Bail conditions has always been an issue even in literature in many countries. So calls for reforms and clarity as to how bail conditions are set, I am for it. And it is not because it is happening in the NDC regime. In future, if it happens, we should still be able to talk about it. And I know the Constitution has provided avenues where you can make an application for variations of bail conditions. But I think that there should be a framework that sets the bar in terms of how, or the offenses, how bills should be set, should be clearly defined in the regulations so that everybody will be certain. So that you don't use bail as a tool for political victimization. So bail should not substitute punishment. I think in that score, I agree with that we must have a framework that guides how bills are set. if we don't do it now, in future, an NDC party will also come with what he's just saying, and a united party will also, when they come in future, will also have the same issue to say. So I think if it is expressly stated in law, then it settles all these things so that you don't use it as a political witch hunt tool. Now, as for arrest and guarantees, I'm still surprised, seriously. You served this country for 7 years as finance minister, and all of a sudden you don't have guarantees of safety in your own country. So when I hear that argument, I ask myself, how did we get this low? That you were finance minister. In fact, even at the time when Ghanaians were suffering and you wanted to introduce the e-levy, you did town hall meeting, you went to the need and crannies of this country. So who has suddenly made Ghana unsafe? He clearly demonstrated that there were about 100 and something ministers. Only one is being called to come and account.
No, I said only one.
Minister is unable. Okay, so let me even take your words, unable. The rest are cooperating. In fact, they've just, some of them have just been invited for questions and answers, and since they've left, they've not been called back. So we must make sure that accountability is seen as institutional, not on personalities. Whoever is involved doesn't matter. So you talked about President Mahama on the Airbus issue. It shouldn't be because it's President Mahama. It should be because there was an allegation on wrongdoing concerning an Airbus purchase. Investigation went into it as far as Europe and here with the OSP. Then the man was cleared. He didn't procure the clearance. So Ken fighting back and you're linking it to President Mahama fighting. It shouldn't be suggested in the minds of people that these are procured judgments. So Ken Ofori-Atta, we those communicating for him and the MPP are those giving him the latitude to stay further away. Because we defend him every day. Yet Hanan and others have been left to their own fate. Look at Honorable Mustafa Hamid of MPA. He goes to court every time. Look at the quantum of monies involved in the case itself. Billions of cedis. He hasn't run away. Now, Ken left this country on grounds of health. Are you saying if he was in Ghana, staying at the comfort of his own home versus a detention center in US, which one is more inhumane to his own health? You cannot tell me that the detention center in US is more habitable than his home in Ghana. A country that you rule for 7 years, you don't believe that the health system of this country is better enough to take care of you. So how can somebody who is not healthy be comfortable sleeping in detention centers? Have you seen the videos of the detention centers? And yet, instead of him to self-deport, to come and initiate the procedure for accountability, in fact, when you even appear and you are arrested, you apply for bail. And then you do your if you apply properly before the court on urgent health needs, the court grants it normally. So where's the fear? Why should we even have guarantees to your own country? The people facing justice as we speak, are they not Ghanaians? Are they not human? Are they not MPP? You mentioned of Wuntumi. Wuntumi, who said President Mahama can never become president again. He was not, he should have been the first person to run. But he stayed. That alone shows statesmanship. That the political authority that we hold is in trust of the people. And you know trust and tort laws. when you are holding something in trust, it is at the beck and call of the person you are holding it on behalf. It is the same Ghanaian people that gave the MPP overwhelming mandate in 2016 are those who have tested their leadership for 8 years and said enough is enough. Come and account to how you led this country. Then you say, oh no, you believe in, we should try you in absentia. Trial in absentia have also now become a tool to exploit and do avoidance of justice delivery. Sedinam Tamaklo was tried in absentia and jailed in Ghana's court, unconvicted. Has she spent a day in Ghanaian cells? So people use it, in fact, not only peculiar to Ghana, across the world. People seek asylum from nations, and then they try them in their domestic countries, convict them, and when their party comes to power, they try out other avenues to remove the convictions on them. Our interest is not persecution. Our interest is to make sure that these things that we have taken to court never happens again. Dr. Atuforsen is a finance minister, and I'm pretty sure that he will use this as a useful lesson. So let's not personalize the whole discussion to look like it's Ken. Look, Mr. Sylvester Anenima, I don't know if you know him. He was also part of this man, Atuforsen case. He was a chief director at Ministry of Health. I know him. In fact, he looks 100% sicker than even Ken. But he was dragged to court. In fact, in those days, they would even bring medical records. At that time, the Attorney General would challenge the validity of the medical records. In most instances, his eyes had problems. He couldn't see well. He was asked to stay in the witness box and do testimonies. He was cross-examined. He was tendered documents through his lawyers to read even at that age. We had MPP people supporting what was going on in the Atuforsen case. Atuforsen, as minority leader, was taken to court at the time that it was so politically tense moments in Ghana. Yet the man stayed. In fact, a whole minority at that time will join him on any court day. You can also do that. This man has gone to acquire a property that was used by the former vice president of the Republic of USA. There was a name, Kamala. Very close to the White House. And it is not like a hospital that we were told that the man is doing treatment abroad. This is comfort living. He is living in his comfort zone. Walking out, in fact, they monitored him over a period, walking up and down and in and out of the house. They've been seeing him. So this is not somebody who is bedridden. So all the noise that they told us were all lies. They deliberately knew what they did. Then they used state power at that time to allow him escape justice. So for me, we will not shield anybody, irrespective of who you are. Once proven to be guilty, you will be punished. And let me give you this assurance. It is not going to just be one minister running. Several people, others tried. But it is not good because that is not the discussion we are having here. It tells you that when you are given an office, try as much as possible to leave a legacy. Right now, all the accomplishments he has made in Ghana, what's the name of his businesses? Data Bank, Enterprise Insurance. If he escapes justice, it is a dent on even his business. So it is for his own good. The downfall of Ken, like my brother said, started in 2022 when he was urged. The country was sinking. debt to GDP of 104%. We actually said that we can, if you combine all our income in Ghana plus incomes of non-residents who are in Ghana now, if you add all, our debt could not even pay, our income could not even pay our debt. He superintended bringing this country down. So when actions of leaders are not held accountable, it emboldens future leaders to be reckless. I would join any call to urge him to come. What he's going through in the detention center, looking at the pedigree and the position that he has held, I think that it's a bit far-fetched. But he denied the Ghanaian authorities who would have aided. In all these things, he doesn't want to see any Ghanaian again, except those that are aligned to him. The ambassador in USA should have been your first point of call. They should have extended you all the courtesies as a former finance minister. You denied them entry. You were always worried on your safety, as if we would just hardly pick him there and deport him. Now that the court appearance has happened in USA, I think this reinforces rule of law once again, for us to trust that even if we evade it in Ghana, eventually some other systems are well established that can deal with it. So I am not here to talk about the reasons why we want him in Ghana, because these are still issues that are yet to be tested in courts. But I'm looking at the circumstances and the journey, or the effort that is being made, or an attempt that is being made to evade those justice systems. That is my problem. So I want to hold on to the immigration judge. Recently, you know, the first arrest was due to immigration issues. Now extradition request has come. We want to see how best the justice delivery system can expedite actions on them to get us finality on the matter. But as to if I am Ken today, and I'm a finance person, so I know that as we progress, one day we may also be exposed to financing and how Ghana financing is being run. If you are a politician, not anything can happen. I will expect, for the very reason that you say Ghanaians call us thieves, is the conduct and actions that we portray to them. That's why they call us thieves. Because if Ken humbly do self-deport and come to Ghana in full force with his legal team and get this done, that perception will be eroded. But the more he keeps on dragging this issue, the more public opinion is solidified, is cemented. And at that time, you cannot say any other thing that will be acceptable to finally, these press conferences by the AG, a certain government has decided to run an accountability series. And when you are a government legal advisor or representative, if you take a matter to court, what you tell people is the statement of fact you have taken to court. So what AG is clearly doing is what he would ordinarily do in a court. Ensuring transparent leadership is a key anchor of good governance. And I have not heard AG on any day make a declarative statement that this person is a criminal or a thief. He updates you on what his findings are, keeping the Ghanaians informed. It's not something that is bad. And if he also informs Ghanaians and later the court decides otherwise, it means that his argument that he has advanced was not superior enough. And I'm sure Ghanaians will know. So let's not discourage that conduct. Because if you do, it means that you keep a lot of Ghanaians in the dark. So I want to urge him to continue, because he's only telling us what he has found. The opposition also have the opportunity to also make their side of the issue. But Ghanaians must be informed. Go to CDD latest last report in 2024. It stated clearly that if you look at the 74% loss of trust in the judiciary, primary aspect of it is that judgments were procured on political lines. It's because people were not afforded the opportunity to follow through court processes or what goes on in court. In those days, they will go to court on an issue, they come out with multiple positions on the same matter. You don't know what has happened. So the AG has, it is through the AG people will get to know what exactly is this SML issue. There were many issues that you will never know the truth of it until he comes and you will now begin to dig more. If everything was handled in the quiet in the court, who will know anything? So we must encourage that government accountability series to bring governance to the doorstep of every ordinary Ghanaian. And that is what I will say about Ken. I pray that he returns. I also want to urge the present government that we must do things that posterity will be favorable to us. You must make sure that we are not persecuting people, but we are prosecuting them with facts and evidence. But also, we must not shield our own. I think that is always the litmus test, that we wait until you lose power, then you jump on the people that just left. But also, President Mahama has demonstrated with track record and even with proven statements currently that any appointee that is found culpable of the law will not be shielded. Okay. That alone comforts me, and I know that when Ken returns, he will be treated just like any other Ghanaian, but with enhanced privilege because of his status as a former finance minister. But the law will naturally work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. A few comments from those of you who are joining us. This is Papa Bisu from Spinktest on our very first discussions. I always feel so very good. Very happy, actually very happy seeing Uncle Kwesi Pratt in good health and in excellent. May Almighty God continuously shower his divine blessings, divine favors, divine protection, and divine good health on him. That's coming from Papa Bisu. This one says, I'm General Mosquito from Bolga. Please, how far with the report of the 2023 African Games, which was announced to be presented on the second week of December? Please, if NDC is not up to the task to fight corruption, we, the UP, are warming up to take over in 2028, if God permits. Thank you very much. That's General Mosquito from Bolga. This is Chris from Kaswa. Okay. This is, okay, Chris from Kaswa is asking, I think it's a question addressed to Mr. Pratt. This question he's been asking over time. Says, who started the Gaza massacre, Palestinians or Israelis? I cherish your submission, but sometimes I don't get you right. That is Chris who sent that. Then there's this one says, yes, Ghanaians will call you thieves if you fail to account for your stewardship. Kobe, send that from Senya Breku. Then it's Yakwete says, you see, there is no way anyone who walks on the wrong path can escape the wrath of God. Just that if you are lucky, you may die peacefully before facing your maker in the hereafter and account for your stewardship here on earth. But if you are not lucky, the wrath of God may start with humiliation before men, even as you await the bigger judgment, so some others can also learn some lessons if they are minded. This is the fate of those who read the Bible selectively to exclude the exhortation by Ecclesiastes that there is time for everything. That is Dennis Yao Akwete.
Mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.